Hi, it's Saturday, the 14th of November 2020, and it's day 9. Here we are, White Solar Dog Day. Day 9, Gateway Day, always able to go to the next level. We have the Sun in Scorpio. We have the Moon in Scorpio. We're in dark moon at the moment, with a supermoon coming at 5-ish in the morning in the UK at 23 degrees of Scorpio. So tomorrow is going to be a big day. Mars has gone direct in Aries today, so you may be feeling a different energy of new beginnings going forward for you. I did a wellness conference in South Africa today, took part in that, and I've advertised that on my social media everywhere. So I hope that you managed to take part and had a look at some of the live events, which looked amazing, and lots of speakers on there as well. So lots of these events coming up at the moment, lots of new learning being able to be accessed at the moment. And so although we are being shut down in some ways, we're opening up in others. I'm going to read you the moon degree right now. Scorpio at 16 degrees, Sharon ferries the dead across the river Styx. The bittersweet combination of death's lessons and life issues and dilemmas concerning limits, taking on the projection of the one who brings up, brings out, brings through what everybody would prefer to avoid. Deeply impressed with the humanity karmas around death, and especially around every kind of restriction and heavily pressured passage, uncovering experientially the magnitude of fears and doubts, avoidances and negations, yet almost irresistibly tempted to constellate these things, to dramatise personally the shadow worlds. A transformative path can be accessed if you forgive everybody their obtuseness and align with redemptive currents, in complete disregard of the old distortions and phobias, simply passing right through all of it to find a new freedom that is whole. And this card today is key to this process of passing through. So this is the 8 of Discs, Prudence. And again, key to yesterday. So in this 13-day process, each day has a reason, a template, and the 13-step process remains the same throughout. What changes is each 13-day process has a different order to it, and that is what I offer you, what the Zolkin means. It's putting things in the right order. So it's clearing these distortions, it's clearing the shadow world, understanding how to work with it. And you absolutely do not need this process. You don't need it. We're all doing it anyway on some level. What this process gives is a compass, a guide, a map, just like our natal charts in astrology, just like our 13-year cycles when we work out the code in the Mayan. And it also gives us the ability to see the divine process, to see the maturation process, to see the conscious evolution process that we're all going through, whether we're conscious of it or whether we're not conscious of it, and how that gathers momentum the more that we become aware of it and the more that we align ourselves with tools to learn about the shadow, and most importantly to heal the shadow, because my understanding, my experiential journey, this is not simply an intellectual process. It's a mind, body, and spirit process. And so to learn how to use lots of different things to pass right through. So I'm just going to read you from Eli Tarot, and again I'll put links under the video. So in the Kabbalah, which is what Thoth is all about, the cards on one level, so there's so much in these cards, they're amazing. In Kabbalah, masculine force is electric. So in the Mayan wave spell, day 3 is electric. Day 1 is magnetic. And the whole process, the 260-day cycle, begins with red magnetic dragon. Okay, so again, see how these all link in together. So that's the card from the Mayan Oracle today. What the Great Mother is bringing us for our conscious evolution. So what this 260-day process can give you, if you choose to learn about it and learn about how your codes connect with it, how to work with both of the frameworks, is it just gives guidance at these very powerful times, especially where things are changing and going through a lot of turbulence and chaos. So in Kabbalah, masculine force is electric, expressive, while feminine force is magnetic, receptive. So the tree of life, which is shown partly here, is both expressive and receptive. So in terms of the divine, it's the masculine and the feminine. Even though in the patriarchal times that we're in, it's often attributed to the father figure. In this framework, it's about masculine and feminine coming into balance and blending together. And so that's the key for each one of us. So this really refers as an 8 to what was happening yesterday, what we were integrating from the previous wave spell. And remember, this wave spell, as a white wave spell, is refining the previous one of red. We're in the last 52 days of this current spin before we go into the next one, which is in Sagittarius energy. So again, we're in the green castle of the heart. And so at the moment, we're refining our authenticity and being the beacon of light. Red moon, which was yesterday. And so we're integrating the red moon 13-day process. And today in White Dog is the 10th Mayan sign, we're seeing the manifestation of the gateway points. What have you learned in the last 9 days about your ancestral patterning, about your wounding process, about your family? In other words, what are you here as a gatekeeper to transcend and go through on a personal level and change energetically the dynamic of your tribe? So this card in particular is about building on that, refining that. So again, how it interlinks with the white is, how can we be diligent, be the disciple, be the individual who's constantly learning, who's constantly refining their personal process, their life, and becoming clearer, healthier, because this card is connected to the sun in Virgo. And so Virgo being the sacred feminine, the seed, the earth, and the sun being the light on the land. Not much sun and light in the UK at the moment. So again, remembering that this is a time of rejuvenation through rest. And so we can be learning things, we can be putting the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle together, we can be practicing self-care, health, making little changes, not pushing ourselves too much, because it's a time of repletion, being in the cave, the hermit who is tucked away and enjoying a restful time to really work with that inner energy, so that in summer time, in springtime, we can really be productive in terms of our spiritual path. So in terms of our life, our gift, what we came here to share. So this card says that in the next 8 weeks or 8 months, that we will be seeing the manifestation of what we're doing now. But we still need to be skillful. We still need to focus on the material in some way. And so how can we expand our gift? How can we support ourselves in a healthy, balanced way? So there will be a harvest coming in 8 weeks or 8 months by attending to details. So again, you know, this can be where Virgo is in your chart, and it can be being prudent about something. And okay, what have I learned up to now? What have I learned over the last 8 days that I can really work with and expand now and start to go forward with this Mars in Aries time? In terms of Goddess card today, we've got Inanna. And Descent, show me the way to shed all preconceptions, to drop the burdens of life, as you dropped all your possessions on your descent to the underworld. Then enable me to rise restored and ready to live life fully. So, end of life, when we get to the end of our life, how will we look back on it? How will we see our harvest? What have we brought to the world? What have we given during our time here? That can be a very powerful way to get focused around doing something now, rather than at the end of life regretting how we've lived, and taking action now, so that with the end in mind, that's where we want to be. That's what's important to us. And I think over the last few months, Uranus in Taurus, this is what this has really brought for us, is this realization of what we value, what we love, and what it means for us to be on the receiving end of control, of being restricted, of being told certain viewpoints, certain perspectives, and whether that matches with our view of the world or whether it doesn't. How powerful do we feel? How disempowered do we feel? What can we do about that? What can we bring forward from that learning to be solution focused now? And that's the key. People who develop beyond their childhood emotionally and mentally, who become emotionally intelligent, who act in a grown-up way, who own their shadow, who take responsibility fully for who they are and how they have acted and how they will act, are very different to people who stay stuck in childhood, either through trauma or from egotistical behaviour. And again, learning about this is so key, because people who are in positions of power, if they are operating from a childlike mindset, imagine what it would feel like to have such power and control over people, and what the motivation would be behind that position. We've seen this so many times in history. What would be the motivation of those people? Would they be compassionate? Would they have the ability to be compassionate and have empathy? For people who are coming from a place of stunted childhood, trauma, who haven't healed, who aren't self-aware and in positions of power, what is their mindset? What is their perspective? Are they compassionate about others? Do they care? Do we live in a caring society? Do we live in a compassionate world? These are key things to focus on now. How do we get to this position of where we are today? What allowed it to happen? And some surprising things have really happened as well over the last months, where lots of things have come to light for people. So all of this absolutely had to happen. And as in our own personal life, what do we choose to keep? What are we seeing repeating in our own personal history and on the world stage that can be changed if people really focus on this now and on transforming the shadow? Tomorrow is the day of manifestation, and I'll be making another video then. If you'd like to know more about your personal codes, please do get in touch with me, and please do feedback on the video if you feel to, about what your experience has been over the last 9 days and what you've experienced. Lots of love. Bye for now.